Rising interest rates are worsening the housing crisis for one group of hidden victims. When couples break up, on top of inflation and rate rises, their credit scores often decline.
And with lenders tightening their credit process, many recently separated or divorced people are finding it impossible to get loans. Peter White is from the Finance Brokers Association and he's with us this morning from Brisbane. Morning to you, Peter. This is just a massive issue, isn't it? Basically,
Yes.
that single people are being grossly discriminated against.
Yes, Monica, good morning. And that's right. It's a very, very unfair situation people find themselves when it's something that becomes out of their control, especially over the last couple of years where we've all been pushed together through COVID and not everything works out as planned as in a relationship and people go their own different paths. But in lending these days, most loans take two people to pay them. And when one of those party pulls out of those repayment, obviously it puts a blemish on a credit history. But it's unfair to penalise somebody who's been through a particular circumstance that is very unique in this country. I've been lending 44 years. This is the first time I've seen anything like this. And it's unfair that people should be penalised because of what's happened through pandemic and what's happened through relationship breakdown, rising inflation and so on. So we need to look at this through a different lens.
Gee, that's really interesting, Peter, the distinction you've made there. It's not so much the reduction in income, it's the impact on the credit score having gone through the severing of a loan. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Matt. So, the credit score will be impacted on both people, and it becomes really unfair when you find that it's, if you like, the innocent party or one of the parties there that just gets caught out because of that. But there's so many factors that are built into this, from that credit score, but also to the rising cost inflation, rising rates, as we know, and there's more to come there. It's just making it a very unfair and dehumanising almost the situation. This is a very human thing that we're dealing with here. We need to look after people's lives, and this is getting thrown in the bin quite too easily.
We want to get your advice in a moment for people that might be in this situation that have been knocked back. But first, what do you see that needs to happen here on a wider scale?
The main thing that needs to happen here, Mon, is lenders, when they're looking at loans, are very much in this mode of a tick the box off a credit score style of situation. We need to look past that and be more human in our approach to when we're dealing with people's lives in these situations, and look more closely at, was this just a moment in time? And sometimes it's not, so we've got to deal with that as well. But at the same token, if this was a point in time, there was evidence through COVID, evidence through a separation, divorce, whatever the case may be, we need to sort of say, well, if they were perfect credit borrowers prior to that and they can meet the criteria today, that little blimp in the middle there, they need to put it to one side and move on and make sure we're supporting people the right way.
It makes perfect sense what you're saying, Peter, but I guess if you drill down to it, we're asking banks to show empathy compassion, and they haven't got fair enough to say, an enormous track record in that regard. So what can people who find themselves in this position, what can they do?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that people can do. Is firstly, you do need to speak to your bank first up and try and see if you can get through it. But if not, the real key to this is engaging somebody who's a professional in the industry. Go speak to a mortgage broker, because they're dealing with this all the time and know what the right conversations is to help you to speak to your lender, but also then to be able to speak to other lenders who can then turn around and deliver on what you're trying to achieve, whether it's buying your home, refinancing out your partner, even as simple as buying a car, because it's not just confined to home loans.
Yep. Outrageous. All right. Thank you so much for bringing it to the fore. This is affecting so many people and it's a topic we need to talk about. Thank you, Peter. We appreciate it.